This is the 2018 Sunseeker with the Ford Transit. I usually start on the outside and show you everything on the outside, and then we go inside to continue the tutorial. The first stop is the propane tank, which is here underneath this cover. All of these covers usually have a latch here that holds this open, and inside here is just a normal propane tank that is fixed to the chassis. You can pull up to any place that services propane tanks and they will fill it up for you. They will normally turn it off and then fill up the tank there. There is a gauge here that reads whether it's full or not. And then if you need any more, you can read it here, but it also sends a signal on the inside to let you know how much propane is left. Okay, it holds 8 gallons. And it should last anywhere from 5 to 10 days. Okay, we're working our way over here. This is the back of the refrigerator. There's nothing in here that needs servicing, but that is the location of the refrigerator. If you need additional outside electrical outlets when you're hooked to electricity or the generator is running, you can use these electrical outlets. This is the storage for the white water hose, which is for fresh water. So usually white or blue is an indication that it's fresh or drinkable water that you would use at an RV park. And I'll show you where to hook that up when we get to the other side. Okay. Working our way back this way. This is an external propane for a very special stove that you would plug into here. We don't have that propane stove, but basically it uses the propane tank from the RV to give your grill propane gas. Okay, we're not going to use that. This is the next storage container, and it is empty, so we'll just move next to this one. Sorry, let me go back. This is the fresh water fill. The RV contains 40 gallons of water. This is where you would fill it up. And when it's full, it will exit this vented hole at the top. And that is for onboard water. And we'll talk about RV park water when we get to the other side. Okay, and this compartment is our storage facility. There is a couple of things going on in here. We've got a outdoor rug, a couple of camping chairs, and then this is the storage tube for the gray and black water tank. We'll talk about that when we get to the other side. We do provide a grill if you need one, but it will need the small green propane tanks from Coleman that you can buy at Walmart. And let's go to the other side. Okay. We have our electrical connection. We have rubber gloves in case when you go to work with the sewage system. Inside here is the chemicals that go inside the toilet after you've dumped the tank. You just pop one in straight, direct into the toilet. They're just like Tide Pods. They dissolve in water at the bottom of the tank. You'll want to put one of these every time you empty the black tank, okay? This is just rubber gloves and rags for if you're working outside or you're gonna get dirty. And then we've got our electrical connections here, which works like this. At a campground, the service side is on the left-hand side. So you'll have water, electricity, and sewage. And when you get to that campground, you're going to want to hook up your electrical system. So this is how this is done. There's 3 connectors in here. It's similar to a dryer, what you would see in a dryer. There's a little tab on this one, and it lines up with this little tabbed one here. So you really can't go wrong. You just got to get all 3 of these lined up correctly. You push it in and give it a quarter turn, and then when it's locked in place, you can close the collar by turning it to the right. Okay, so you'll tighten the whole thing up. Okay, now you're ready to go over to the camping ground area, and we're going to pretend that there is an electrical box right here, and we're going to plug in our electrical service. So it'll be a 30 amp plug. This is what this is. If you run into a 50 amp service, you have a 50 amp adapter, which is this 4-pronged plug here. And then you will connect this orange to this. So then you can have 50 amp service if you need it. Okay. Also, if your campground has cable TV and you want to run cable TV on the TVs, that's actually this connection here. So you would connect this to that, and then this to the campground's service for cable TV. And then you'd want to go and run the remote for channel scan on each TV to make sure you get all the channels that you need. In addition, you'll want to, if and when you're ready to do sewage service, you'll want to put on some gloves. And we will run over to the sewage tank. Okay. And this compartment here is the sewage hose, right? So we'll want to open this up with our rubber gloves on. And inside here is the tube that you will use to empty the tanks. We're going to bring this over to here and open this up. Inside here is a couple of things. You've got the black tank, which is anything in the toilet, and the gray tank, which is anything in the shower or the sink, right? So this is the smell bad stuff, and this is the soapy water stuff. You're going to choose the other end. You'll see this connection here connects directly onto this tube here. So you run it through the hole and turn it here until it's locked in place. This will go over to your campground service, and you'll put it in the hole at your campground, and just make sure it's dipped down inside there 3 to 5 inches. Okay? When you're ready and the tanks are full, you can empty them by pulling these handles, right? The handle goes out about 4 to 5 inches, and then it opens up that valve, and all of the waste goes down the tube into the hole. I always do the black tank first, and I keep it open, and then I follow it with the gray tank to wash the hose down of all the smelly stuff and use the soapy water to wash out the tube. When everything is done, you'll close each valve, and then you can take the hose off. Yep. All right, so we're at our campground and we're getting set up, and we're gonna hook our hose. This is our city water connection, right? So you're at a campground, it provides water, and you're gonna hook it just like you would any other garden hose. And this is gonna be straight to the RV. Now, when you're on city water, it means you're bypassing the 40-gallon tank on board. This will not fill the 40-gallon tank. It just provides you water while you're camping. There'll be a hose spigot here next, close to the electrical system, and you'll just screw it in and turn on the water. You don't want too much pressure. You want to just put a little bit of pressure to it, enough to make the faucets come alive. Again, this only uses city water. It will continue to fill up the black and the gray tanks, but it does not use the onboard water 40 gallons. So, and it will not fill that up as well. You can only fill it from the other side, okay? Okay, so over here is an outdoor shower, and you'll use this small silver key for this. You'll need water from the hose or water from the tank with the pump on, and then you'll be able to use this as an outdoor shower. It's basically good for the beach, washing off your feet, small children, stuff like that. Okay, over here is the garbage area. You'll need the small silver key as well. Open this up and you can empty the garbage without disturbing anyone on the inside. And then you can refill it and put it back that way. This is the back of the heater. There's nothing to worry about here except that it does get hot, so you don't want your children touching this. And this is a tank flush for the gray and the black. It's not something you'll need. It'll be only something that I would use after the RV has been returned. Okay, this is where the gas tank is filled. You'll have to open the door to get to the gas area, but you can close it after the fact. So once you got it open, and in Oregon they fill your gas for you, you can still have the door closed while they service the area. When it comes time to drive away, you want to open the door, close this door, and then close that. It runs on regular gasoline. You don't want to put anything but just regular gas. Okay, when I give you the RV, you'll have the driving key, which has lock and unlock. That's just for the front. It doesn't affect this door at all. You need all of these keys for the outside. This square key opens this deadbolt, open and close. And this round black key opens the latch here. So once the latch is open, let me open it. All right, let me try again. There it is. It's spring loaded, and you can use the screen here. There's a little latch here to open this up. And then once that's closed, you can close this to keep the bugs out. And then you have a nice open window. So then when you're ready, you can just push it back into place and then uncover the locks. This is the deadbolt, this is the latch, and this is how to open it. Okay? All right, let's go inside. Okay, so up here is the control panel for most of the systems on board. You've got, although they're hard to see, you've got quite a few buttons here, just little knobby buttons here. The first one says gray tank. So the gray tank is anything that goes in the shower or the sink. It indicates how full it is. The black tank is next. Same, that is everything that goes in the toilet. Okay. Now you've got fresh water, so the fresh water is full. You see all 4 red lights. Then you've got the battery power. The battery is full. And then you've got propane, right? Propane says 2/3. It is full. It can usually indicate between full and 2/3 even when it's full. When you're ready, you want to have the water pump on to use the onboard water, right? That turning the water pump on brings the sink and the shower and the toilet to life, so you can use water. And this vehicle is also equipped with the Arctic pack, which is during winter time. It will heat up the gray and black tanks to keep them from freezing. You do need electricity to make this run, okay? When you're ready and you need to use the generator, you are dry camping, let's say, and you want to use the generator, we have to prime it first before we start it for the day. That's the prime function here. So you push down, a red light will light, and then you'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Then push up to start, and you'll hear it crank. And then once you hear it start, it's ready to go. As it's starting, it's going to look for all the electrical devices, and the inverter will say everything is okay. The electricity is stable, and then you'll hear the microwave beep. When the microwave beeps, the inverter is happy, and all of the electrical devices are ready to be run. Okay, there, the microwave is ready to go. That has brought everything to life that requires a large amount of electricity. The microwave, the air conditioner, any plug, any electrical plug in the RV, and the fridge has switched over to electricity, right? Down here is the major electrical cutoff. So this is when the RV goes into storage, you can turn it off the system, and that disconnects all the electric devices at the same time. When you're camping in the RV, you'll want this on, and you'll leave it on because it's important to run the fridge. You'll want to be having the fridge on the whole time. This is awning control. The awning control is electric and it's automatic. You'll want to turn on the controls. That activates this controller, and now you can extend or retract. You only push the button one time. I can't do it currently because there's a tree in the way, but you will press the extend button and it will automatically extend to its fullest length and then stop. When it gets too windy or you're ready to bring it in, you hit the retract button one time and it will electronically bring it back and put it in place. This is good for kids, so it's not good for kids. It's good for kids so they don't play with this. If the motor is running, this is actually inactive, so you cannot open the awning while the motor is running. And also, I don't believe you can, well, I'm not sure. I won't say. So we'll edit that part out. Over here is a couple of exterior lights. There's a light underneath the awning, and then there's a light just to the side of the door. So we will use those for that. Okay. And here, yep, go ahead. Over here we've got light switches, of course. So there's a few for this area. This one is one that gets missed. It's on, but no one knows where it's at. It's actually a night light in the bathroom. It's just underneath the cabinet. So if you're going to use the restroom, use the middle one, and that way you can see what you're doing when you get in there, okay? When the generator is running and you're ready to run the air conditioner, you press the mode button until you get to cool. And I don't know that it's gonna work without electricity. Yeah, there it goes, to cool. And then if the generator is running, the system would turn on, and then it would start cooling down with the air conditioner on the roof. Okay, when you're ready to turn it off, you turn it off. Okay, on the wall here is the hot water heater. The heater, as in to raise the temperature of the house. And then there is a vent fan, and you can change modes from propane to electricity. That's not something you would normally do, but let's go through them. If we press the center button on this black round thing, here's the 4 systems that we can operate. The little RV symbol with the temperature gauge is the actual temperature, or the heater to raise the temperature inside the house. Currently it's off. If we want to raise the temperature in Fahrenheit, we'll raise it up to whatever temperature we want. If it's 60 degrees out and you want it to be 72, you just put it to 72, hit the button, and then it begins to flash, and then the little propane symbol is going to light on, and it's going to say, hey, I need to light off the heater, and it's going to do its job. Okay, if you are, oops, let me go back. When you're ready to turn that off, you go back to the little RV symbol, select it, and then turn it all the way down until it goes to off. Okay. Now, when you want to raise the temperature of the water, you want hot water. This is the next one in line. It's this little thermostat or thermometer with the water symbol underneath it. When you want to have hot water, you can select it, go over to it and select it. And there's 3 options. You can make it into eco mode, which saves the most propane. You can put it into hot, which raises the temperature just to a little bit hotter if you like it a little bit hotter. And boost is just a way to get the temperature up as fast as possible. So basically it uses a lot more propane, and it's trying to heat up the water as fast as possible. Okay, when you're done with hot water and you want to turn it off, you select it again. Whoops. You select it again and choose off. So I didn't change it. Let's go. If I go to echo, choose that, and then if I want to turn it off, I select it and go back to off. Okay. If we want to change the mix, I always leave it in mix 1. Basically, it switches from propane to electric as needed. If it sees electricity, it'll use electricity to heat the water or raise the temperature in the RV. If it doesn't see electricity, it'll switch to propane automatically, and it will use propane to heat the water or the house. You can vent. You can bring in fresh air with the vent. This is the vent, the little fan symbol there. So you'll say, I want the vent on. Well, how fast do you want the vent? After you've selected vent, you can change the speed of the fan, and then fresh air will come in from the bottom, and it will bring in fresh air into the house. Okay, if you just go back to the fan and choose off, then it's off. When you're ready, okay, you ready? When you're ready to eat or sit down at the table, you can break out the table. So the table is underneath that piece of wood that we used earlier, and it's right here. We keep these both open so we can get this out of here safely. And also down here is the pole that the table sits on. Okay, so grab the pole while you're in there. You can close the door and then put the pole here. Once the pole is in there, you can put the seats back down, and then this right here is how this is connected. Put it into a position that you like, either this way if you're trying to work on a laptop, or this way if you're trying to eat. It's up to you. And then you can tighten the handle underneath to lock that in place. Okay, and when it's time to break this down, you'll lift this up after you've loosened that handle right here, right? And sometimes, occasionally, when there's sand inside here, this pole will get stuck into this hole right here. Sometimes it's hard to pull out. On the side of this chair is a little pouch that provides basically an oil filter wrench that will give you some grip, and then you can use it to pull, whoop, there we go, to twist out the pole. Okay, this is basically an oil filter wrench, but it's sitting in this pouch right here. Okay, you'll stow everything back the way it was. The pole goes in here, and then you can lift this up, give you some room. Okay, and then you can slide this under here, underneath this piece of wood. Put everything back in its home. And then you close the door and put the cushions back down. Okay, in the kitchen is the stove. Just a couple of burners to use a frying pan with, or boil a pot of water. When it comes time to light it, it's just like a barbecue grill. You'll turn on the gas, and then you'll strike the striker to turn on the burner, right? And that works for both of these. Choose your temperature there based on what you need, and then turn it off when you're ready. It's preferred that you wait for those to cool down before you lower the glass. This is glass, so please be careful. Over here is the sink. There was a glass top for this, but it has been broken recently. You'll lift the sink up here, and occasionally it gets a little loose, so you can tighten it there. And once the pump is on, you'll have water with your sink. Okay, you can put that back down when you drive. That's the way it keeps it out of the way. Inside here is where that garbage can is located that we talked about on the outside. And all of these windows have this shade system. There's quite a few buttons up here, but what you need to know, the basics is, if you're using this middle one, you can put down the shade, right? If you want to put the shade back up, you just lift it up here. If you want to have the screen go away so you can get some unscreened air, I guess is what we call it, you want to put a little pressure here to hold this in place while you open these, right? And then that will lower this. Now you can open the window by turning these latches and pushing this out. There's a little catch in those arms that is sitting right about there. That leaves it open so you can get fresh air crossing through on either side. When it's time to close that, you got to push up to unlock it and then bring it back home. And then you just close all of the latches again. And you can let this back up if you want to put the screen up while the window's open. It just locks in place.